Pearls, glowing, iridescent, lustrous, they are gems from the sea. Tahitian pearls are born from the Pinctada margaritifera oyster, unique for its spectacular array of colours. Indigenous to French Polynesia, they thrive in pristine lagoons rich in phytonutrients and minerals. These lagoons are protected by coral reefs which shelter the oysters from the many perils of the open sea. Pearl cultivation begins with the careful selection of baby oysters called spats, which are gathered and raised in nurseries over a 2-year period. During this time, careful nurturing is necessary to guard these young oysters against predators and parasites. After 2 years, the cultivation process continues with the donor oyster, whose mantle tissue is carefully cut into very small pieces. The mantle tissue selection is an integral part to the process because it contains the epithelial cells, which are responsible for growing nacre and for determining the colour of the future pearl. The most critical stage of pearl cultivation is called the first graft. A highly skilled technician gently opens a 2 to 3 year old shell and makes a slight incision in the reproductive organ of the oyster, referred to as the pearl sac. A small nucleus is inserted into the pearl sac along with a piece of mantle tissue. This process is accomplished with surgical precision to avoid stressing or harming the oyster. The nucleated oysters are returned to pristine lagoons and suspended on rosaries at depths of 12 to 15 metres for a minimum of 2 years. The oysters are given the utmost care during this period. Water temperatures, turbidity and feeding conditions are checked daily. Periodic removal of seaweed, barnacles and other seaborne organisms is also necessary to encourage healthy growing oysters. During these 2 years, a natural miracle takes place. The cells from the mantle tissue develop around the nucleus, depositing thousands of layers of crystalline calcium carbonate, known as nacre, slowly forming a pearl. After roughly 2 years of patient care, the oysters are pulled from the ocean and expert technicians collect the pearls. The reward is worth the wait. A beautiful pearl is revealed to the world. Tahitian and South Sea pearl oysters are uniquely capable of receiving a second graft. After harvesting pearls from the first graft, the technician examines the quality of the pearl and the health of the oyster. If the first graft produced a round and high-quality pearl, the technician will select a new nucleus that is roughly the same size of the pearl that was just harvested and insert it into the pearl sac. The shells are returned to the ocean once again for another 2 years. After second graft pearls have been collected, the oysters are now 6 to 7 years old and can be grafted a third and final time. The pearls resulting from second and third grafts are larger and more valuable. It can take 10 years for an oyster to produce a third graft pearl that is more than 16 millimeters in size.